one of your most popular videos on YouTube of all time is called The Right Path to Becoming a Data Engineer. So, Andreas, what is that one and only path? What is the right one?
Well, there are actually multiple paths when you think of tools,
Mhm.
right? You might be on AWS, you might be on Azure, or there might be some specific tools that companies need. But in general, if you understand the process, and I think we were already hinting to that, if you understand how is a platform usually structured and what kind of tasks you need to do with what kind of tools you need to work, then that's where you know, or where you know what to learn and how to get to it. That you understand, okay, there are two layers. There's your transactional layer and there's your analytical layer, or where you most likely on the top you likely find some transactional databases, and on the bottom in the analytical layer is usually where you have your data warehouses and stuff. That you understand that, and that you know the difference between these tools. And again, from the left, I talked in the earlier left where the data originates, right where the data is used, that you understand, okay, there is an integration phase. The data is coming in, somehow it needs to be integrated. There are tools available. Learn one of them. Most of the time, that's the how to do it is very, very or is the same than in a lot of other tools. Then it comes in, you maybe have something like a message queue, then you have a processing framework, and then you have a storage layer and a visualization or a connect layer on the other side. And then pick out from these layers, pick out specific tools. Maybe if you want to go on AWS, or if you want to be on Azure, then you would select the fitting tools for these platforms. Or if you want to stay open source, okay, then you might use, for an API, you might use Fast API or Postgres for the database before that. Then you would get into Kafka and Spark for a message queue and a processing framework. And on top, you might sit a MongoDB, right? So this way you already have a lot of these topics fitted. And then you could even say, okay, let's do a visualization. Let's play around with Power BI and see how then Power BI would actually connect to that data, or a dashboard would connect to that data, and how this would get shown. And then you have these important areas covered. From there, you can then say, okay, I understand how that works. Let's see how another tool works. Let's see maybe how this all works on AWS, and then go from there.
Cool. That was a
Because
great explanation.
yeah,
Uh,
thanks. Because you don't. That's also something that a lot of people do wrong. They see all these tools out there, and they think they need to learn everything
mm,
to become a good data engineer. No, you need to understand, okay, what's the usual template? How is this is usually going to work? And then once you know this, you see this everywhere.